The autumn sun filters through my windows, casting golden patterns across the dining table I spent 3 hours preparing. 24 place settings with vintage china I'd collected over months. 24 crystal glasses catching the light. 24 empty chairs. My phone chimes again, breaking the silence like an accusation. I've ignored it for an hour, but the notifications keep coming. With trembling hands, I finally pick it up, the weight of it suddenly unbearable. The screen glows with social media updates. And there they are, my family. Mom and Dad smiling proudly beside Brandon in what looks like his new apartment. Aunt Susan holding a champagne glass, Uncle Robert with his arm around my cousin Melissa. Grandmother, frail but content, in the corner of the frame. The caption from my mother reads, "So proud of our boy's first home purchase." The Taylor family is celebrating Brandon's big milestone. I swipe again, more relatives, more smiles, more champagne. Then a video starts playing. Brandon, laughing with 2 of our cousins, flashing his perfect white teeth. The phone slips from my hand, clattering onto the table. Tears blur my vision as I look at the untouched appetizers. The wine I bought because Dad always enjoys a good Cabernet. The homemade rolls cooling in their basket. Just this morning, I was humming while moving around the kitchen, too excited to sleep. At dawn, I reviewed my checklist, determined everything would be flawless for today's celebration of my first home. This 1,920 square foot craftsman was the result of my savings and 9 months of hard work. I had restored every corner with care. "You're going overboard again," Rachel had teased as she helped me polish my grandmother's silverware. But her smile was gentle. "I want everything to be perfect," I had replied, adjusting the napkins for the 4th time. Mom had said the house was too small. Dad doubted the neighborhood. I wanted them to see what I had created here. Rachel's reassuring hand on my shoulder reminded me, "They should be proud of you no matter what." The first sign of trouble came at 1:45 p.m. A text from Mom. "Running late, start without us. By 3:30, my coworkers Jane and Peter had arrived. My elderly neighbor, Mrs. Eleanor, brought pie. 3 friends from college showed up with wine and warm hugs, but no family." At 4:15, my calls to my parents still went to voicemail. Brandon wasn't answering either. My texts to aunts and uncles remained unread. Finally, at 5:08, Aunt Susan picked up. "Honey, aren't you coming to Brandon's housewarming?" she asked over the background noise. "He bought an apartment downtown. Everyone's here celebrating." "Your parents said you knew." My throat tightened. "Brandon rents his apartment. He didn't buy anything." "Well, that's not what he told everyone," she said after a pause. "Anyway, he scheduled this last week. Said it mattered to him." "I sent invitations to my housewarming a month ago," I whispered. "Today, at 2 o'clock, silence followed. Then, oh dear. Well, we're all here now. Maybe you could stop by later?" "After your gathering?" I hung up. Now I sit surrounded by empty chairs meant for people who chose not to come. The 7 who did arrive exchange quiet, worried glances over the cooling food. Mrs. Eleanor, sharp as ever at 83, rises from her seat. She lifts her glass, her gaze steady. "Don't let empty chairs steal your joy, dear. Today is Macy's day." The others raise their glasses. Rachel leans close and whispers softly, "This is your real family, Macy. The ones who choose to be here." My phone lights up again. Mom calling. 7 pairs of eyes watch me, concern written across their faces. I silence the ringer with one firm motion and raise my glass to Eleanor's toast. "Not today," I say, my voice steadier than expected. Today is about the people who showed up. Hours later, the last guest waves goodbye, disappearing into the night. Only Rachel remains, helping me pack leftovers that will last for days, each container a reminder of the missing chairs. "You should stay at my place tonight," she suggests. "We'll drink wine and watch bad movies until we fall asleep." I shake my head. I need to be here. This is my home. The word feels heavy, almost fragile as it leaves my lips. Home. After today, the meaning seems both powerful and uncertain. The doorbell rings, its chime breaking the stillness. Rachel and I exchange a look. "I'll get it," I say, drying my hands on a towel. When I open the door, my mother, Linda Taylor, stands there. Her pearl earrings catch the light as her eyes move past me, inspecting my living room. "May I come in?" she asks, though she doesn't wait for an answer. I step aside, unease rising in my chest. She walks slowly, her gaze moving over the refinished wood floors, the crown molding I spent weeks restoring, the antique light fixture I hunted down from 3 different shops. "It's nice," she says, lips pursed, smaller than it looked in the pictures. The sting of dismissal settles deep in my chest. Rachel appears quietly in the doorway, her presence steady beside me. "Mom, why are you here?" I ask. Linda sets her purse on my sofa and looks at me. "Honestly, Macy, I don't understand why you're making such a fuss about today. You're always competing with Brandon, trying to make him feel small. He's finally doing something positive and you couldn't even support him." Her words leave me momentarily speechless. Rachel's sharp inhale is the only sound. "I couldn't show up," I manage at last, "because I was here, hosting my own housewarming, the one I invited everyone 2 weeks ago." "These things happen," she says with a dismissive wave. "You know how busy we all are. Brandon only decided last week. He was so excited. Something shifts in me. Last week? My invitations went out 4 weeks ago. Linda adjusts a pillow on the sofa. Brandon's been struggling. Hosting a gathering seemed good for him. It might build his confidence. He told you it was a rental, not a purchase, right? I ask, my voice steadier than I feel. Linda's hands freeze. "Well, you know how your brother is with details. What matters is that he's finally showing initiative." "Mom," I say slowly, realizing the truth. "Did you know he scheduled his party on the same day as mine?" Her silence tells me everything. "You knew," I whisper. "You all knew. And you let him pretend he bought a place when he's just renting." The betrayal cuts deeper than I thought possible. "You staged a false celebration just to overshadow mine." "Now you're exaggerating," Linda says firmly. "Not everything is about you, Macy. Brandon needs us more than you. You've always been independent?" "Independent?" My voice sharpens. "I've been independent because I had no choice. My entire life you've ignored my successes while celebrating Brandon's every effort." Her eyes widen. "I've never spoken to her like this before. When I made the honor roll, you were at Brandon's average football games. When I won my scholarship, you spent the night comforting him because he didn't get his. I worked 3 jobs to put myself through grad school while you paid his rent after he dropped out. I saved 7 years to buy this house while you funded his failed businesses. We've supported both of you," Linda insists. But the words sound hollow. "I spent $62,000 and 9 months renovating this house," I say, my voice trembling. "Every weekend, every holiday, every spare hour. And you dismissed it as a waste without even visiting." Her expression hardens. "After all we've done for you. What exactly have you done for me?" The words rise from a place I can no longer silence. "Tell me one thing you did for my dreams the way you've done for his." Her silence stretches, heavy and undeniable. Rachel stands as witness to a confrontation long overdue. "This house is mine," I say, opening the door wide. "I earned it. Now leave." Linda stares in shock. This is not how our conversations usually end. Normally I apologize for upsetting her, for asking too much, for existing differently than she expects. Macy Elizabeth Taylor. "You don't speak to your mother that way." "I just did," I reply calmly, though my chest burns. "Please leave." She grabs her purse, her shoulders stiff with indignation. "Your father will hear about this." I'm sure he will. When the door closes, I lean against it, hollow yet strangely lighter. Rachel comes close, wrapping her arms around me. "I'm proud of you," she whispers, as morning sunlight streams through my kitchen windows. The doorbell rings again. I've barely slept, my mind replaying last night's confrontation in endless loops. When I open the door, my father, Charles Taylor, stands there alone, his tall frame slightly bent, his expression unusually unsure. "May I come in?" he asks softly. I step aside without a word. Unlike my mother, he pauses in the entryway, taking in the details of my home with genuine attention. "Could I see it?" he asks. "The whole house." I lead him from room to room. The kitchen with its restored cabinets, the living room with shelves I sanded by hand, the office where I work remotely 2 days a week, the guest bedroom that Rachel and I painted a soft sage green in the backyard. He stops by the garden beds I built last month. "You did all this yourself?" he asks. "Most of it," I answer. "Friends helped with the bigger projects." He nods slowly. "It's beautiful." "Macy, you've created something special." The compliment, the first real one I can remember, lands awkwardly between us. Brandon told everyone he bought the place, my father adds suddenly. We knew it wasn't true. The reminder of their deliberate lie stings, even though I already knew. Your mother is very upset, he continues, slipping into the familiar pattern of control through guilt. Maybe if you apologized, we could move on. I won't apologize for telling the truth, I reply. Or for expecting basic respect. His face hardens. You know, Macy, we're not getting any younger. Our estate, I don't need your money, I interrupt. I never did. Something shifts in his eyes, anger perhaps, at losing the leverage he thought he had. But beneath it, I recognize the same pattern that has shaped my whole life. You gave Brandon 3 business loans, I say quietly. The sports shop that failed in 6 months. The food truck he sold in 3 weeks. The investment that turned out to be a pyramid scheme. He has potential, my father replies automatically. He just needs support to find his way. And what about me? I ask. Did I ever have potential worth supporting? His silence says everything. A car pulls into my driveway. Rachel steps out with Dr. Elaine Foster, her older friend. Behind them, Mrs. Eleanor arrives carrying a dish. My phone buzzes with supportive texts and photos from coworkers. I should go, my father says, frowning at the arrivals. Your mother expects you to call and apologize. The family has been through enough drama. You can't threaten me with estrangement when that's already my reality, I reply, walking him to the door. He pauses. This isn't how family treats each other, Macy. I know, I say quietly. That's the problem. As the door shuts, I lean against it, exhaling slowly. Dr. Foster approaches, her kind eyes steady. That's the first step, she says gently, recognizing the pattern. The little red Instagram notification has haunted me for a week. Every time I unlock my phone, it dares me to see the damage my family continues to cause. I sit in my office, surrounded by the sage green walls I painted myself, when Aunt Susan's text appears again. Your mother is very upset. When are you going to apologize? I set the phone down. The desk still smells of lemon oil from yesterday's polish. Outside, the maple leaves glow golden in the October sun. Brandon's Instagram remains unchanged since my housewarming, his post announcing his apartment. Champagne toasts, congratulatory comments from relatives who never bothered to question it. Enough, I whisper. I open my camera roll. There it is, Rachel's photo from 3 months ago. Me on the porch of my craftsman, keys in hand, flushed with pride and exhaustion. The caption forms clearly as I type, renovation completed on my first home purchase. From rewiring to refinishing these 100-year-old floors myself. Thanks to everyone who supported this journey. First-time homeowner, renovation, craftsman. Style, I post without mentioning betrayal or tagging family. The memory floods back. Working 60-hour weeks between my data engineering job and freelance coding, living in a tiny studio with old college furniture, losing 3 houses in bidding wars before finally finding this one. That moment, I stood alone in the empty living room after signing the papers, pressing my palm against the wooden archway. No parents to celebrate with. No brother to help move. Just me, a set of keys, and a house that needed as much care as I did. How different from Brandon, his downtown apartment. Paid rent, furnished rooms, and a moving service funded by our parents. My phone pings again. A message from Katie, my cousin, and the only one who seems to see clearly. Thought you should see this, she writes, sending screenshots from the family group chat. My stomach tightens as I scroll. Aunt Susan. The situation with Macy is out of hand. Linda is beside herself. Uncle Robert. Brandon says she's jealous of his success. Always has been. Cousin Michael. We all know Macy's difficult. Remember her tantrum at Thanksgiving when she was 16? The tantrum was my reaction when no one acknowledged my MIT scholarship acceptance, while dinner revolved around Brandon's C+ in math. More screenshots follow. The family myths I've fought my whole life. Macy, the troublemaker. Macy, the sensitive one. Macy, the one who needs to try harder. The weight of their dismissal feels like concrete around my chest. Later, in Dr. Foster's office, the air smells of sandalwood and old books. The leather chair creaks as I recount the family messages. The golden child versus scapegoat dynamic is textbook in your family, she says. Her voice is calm, steady, almost matter of fact. Brandon has always been seen as flawless, while I've been cast as the one who can never measure up. I've sensed this for years. But seeing it laid out in that group chat made it undeniable, like they live in an alternate reality. Dr. Foster leans forward slightly. What would your life look like if you stopped seeking their approval? She asks. The question lingers in the air. My chest tightens. I'd be alone, I whisper. Completely cut off? Are you sure? She gestures toward the window. From what you've told me, you have Rachel, your colleagues, your neighbor, Mrs. Eleanor, people who actually see you. I pause. But they're not family, aren't they? Dr. Foster's eyes soften. What makes someone family, Macy? That question follows me home, echoing as I pull into the driveway. Rachel's car is already out front, along with 3 others I recognize from the office. Paint cans and rollers are visible through their windows. Surprise! Rachel calls from the porch, motioning to the group behind her. Painting party for the guest bathroom. We brought pizza and wine, too. Inside, Mrs. Eleanor is arranging flowers in a vase. Cuttings from my garden, she explains. And I'll show you how to prune those roses before winter. My grandmother taught me, and someone should keep these old techniques alive. Over the next 2 weekends, the house fills with more than paint and sawdust. Laughter begins to echo in rooms once heavy with expectation. My coworkers Jane and Peter become regular dinner guests. Mrs. Eleanor passes down her secrets for growing the perfect tomatoes in spring. One Wednesday evening, the doorbell rings while I'm cooking. Through the frosted glass, I see Brandon's silhouette. Confident as always, one hand tucked into his pocket. When I open the door, his smile is polished, rehearsed. Hey sis, he says, leaning on the doorframe like it's a sitcom scene. Place looks good. I hesitate before letting him in. What brings you here, Brandon? He shifts, briefly uncomfortable. Things got out of hand with the apartment situation. Mom and Dad might have overreacted. Not an apology, just words. Within minutes, he gets to the point. I've got this investment opportunity. Real estate downtown. Small buy-in, big return. I thought of you since you're into property now. The old pattern unfolds. Brandon needs money. Brandon turns to me. Brandon assumes I'll say yes. How much? I ask, more curious than hopeful. Just $15,000 to start. I'll pay you back once it takes off. Like the loans from our parents that never got repaid. Like the temporary apartment stay they financed for 2 years. I study him carefully. The smile that never reaches his eyes. The ingrained belief that I'll always comply. You've never seen me clearly, I say softly. And I finally see you. His expression hardens. What's that supposed to mean? It means no, Brandon. I won't be investing. After he leaves, I surprise myself with my next decision. I call my mother and agree to Sunday dinner. But first, I meet with Dr. Foster. Remember, she warns, they'll try to pull you back into old patterns. You don't have to respond the way you always have. Rachel will be nearby, just in case, I tell her. Good. What boundaries will you set? I count them off. I'll leave if they belittle my home or my choices. I won't discuss lending money to Brandon. I won't stay longer than 90 minutes. Dr. Foster nods. And your purpose in going? To see if honesty is possible, I reply. To see if anything can be salvaged. Sunday is cold and clear. Their suburban house looks pristine, the lawn perfect, the porch furniture in place. Such a contrast to my eclectic craftsman. Inside, silence fills the dining room. Brandon cracks a joke that dies instantly. My father clears his throat again and again. My mother fusses with serving dishes, avoiding my eyes. Thank you for coming. Macy, my father finally says. I'm here to see if honesty is possible. My words drop like stones into still water. We get through most of dinner with forced small talk. My mother asks about my job but cuts me off before I finish. My father asks about the house, then winces when I mention installing a water heater myself. The breaking point comes when my mother sets her fork down with a sharp click. I don't understand why you bought such an expensive house, she says. All that money when you could have chosen something more reasonable, like Brandon did. The lie hangs between us. I rise slowly, placing my napkin beside my plate. I didn't come for more lies, I say, my voice steady. Macy, please, my father pleads, also standing. Family should forgive each other. I meet his eyes, then my mother's, then Brandon's, who won't look at me. Family should first be worth forgiving. I walk out, closing the door behind me with quiet finality. Outside, the cold air feels like the first real breath I've taken in years. Morning sunlight spills across my kitchen counter as I arrange fresh dahlias in the ceramic vase Eleanor gave me. Through the window, I see my garden. 3 months of work transforming barren dirt into something alive. The roses climb their trellis with quiet determination, mirroring my own journey. These Sunday dinners are becoming a tradition. Eleanor calls from the porch, setting down her apple cobbler. At 83, she moves with ease, brushing off offers of help. Best day of my week, I answer truthfully. The house feels entirely mine now. The dining table, once marked by absence, now hosts laughter. Rachel brings board games. Peter strums his guitar. Samantha brings her daughter, who chases fireflies in the garden. I've grown comfortable with this rhythm of limited family contact. Dad calls occasionally, awkward but trying. Mom sends formal texts about neighborhood events I never attend. Brandon sends nothing. That silence is its own peace. Until today. My phone buzzes against the counter. Rachel glances up from chopping vegetables. Your face just did that thing, she says. I turn the screen toward her. Brandon's post shines brightly. She said yes. Jennifer made me the happiest man alive. A photo of him grinning beside a blonde woman, her hand raised to show a diamond so large it could have its own zip code. Wow, Rachel says. Didn't they just start dating? 5 weeks. I confirm, scrolling through the comments. Relatives I haven't spoken to in months are already liking and commenting, with my parents leading the celebration. My phone rings. It's Mom, Macy. Her voice is overly cheerful when I answer. Have you heard Brandon's wonderful news? We're thrilled. Jennifer is just perfect for him. I press my fingers to my temple. Congratulations. We're hosting an engagement party in 3 weeks. The whole family will be there, she adds, pausing with weight. This is important, Macy. Family duties come first, especially for something like this. The familiar pressure builds in my chest, expectations tied tightly with guilt. I'll think about it, I reply instead of my usual automatic yes. Think about it? Her voice rises. This is your brother's engagement. After everything we've done for you. I need to go, Mom. Guests are arriving for Sunday dinner. I end the call before she can continue, my hand surprisingly steady. Within the hour, my phone fills with messages from relatives. All echo the same. Family comes together at important times. Your brother would be there for you. Time to put differences aside. The most pointed comes from Aunt Susan. Your mother mentioned you might help with wedding expenses since Brandon is between jobs again. Rachel reads over my shoulder and snorts. Of course the golden child needs another bailout. Dr. Foster's words from our last session surface. You don't have to respond to every crisis. Selective engagement protects your peace. I write one careful message to Brandon. Congratulations on your engagement. Wishing you both happiness, nothing more. To the others, I send variations of, thank you for letting me know. I'll check my schedule when the invitation arrives. Look at you, setting boundaries like a pro, Rachel says, squeezing my shoulder. Dr. Foster would be proud. I agree, surprised at the lightness in my chest where dread usually sat. Sunday dinner unfolds with the comfort of chosen family. Eleanor shares stories of her late husband's gardening mishaps. Peter plays a new song. Rachel teases Samantha about her crush on the IT director. No one brings up weddings, obligations, or duty. No one suggests I should pay for someone else's celebration. No one questions my worth. 2 days later, an unknown number calls. Is this Macy? This is Jennifer, Brandon's fiancée. I grip my phone tighter. Yes. I hope this isn't out of place, but I'd like to meet you. Just us. Her voice is direct, lacking the polish Brandon usually prefers. May I ask why? I say, I came across old photos from your housewarming and noticed how your family speaks about you when you're not there. I need to understand what I'm marrying into. Her honesty takes me by surprise. Coffee at Riverdale Roasters tomorrow at 2? I'll be there, she replies with relief. That evening, Dad shows up with a cardboard box. May I come in? He steps inside carefully, unlike his usual entitled way. He places the box on my table. Found these in the attic. Thought you'd want them. Inside are photos I've never seen. Me at 5 with a science fair ribbon. At 12 sanding wood in Grandpa's workshop. At 16 smiling beside the used car I bought with my savings. I took these, Dad says quietly. Your mother thought everyday moments weren't worth film. My throat tightens as I lift a photo from graduation, my face lit with pride, Dad beside me smiling. "We failed you," he admits. "I failed you." The words I've waited years for land not with triumph but with ache. Brandon told everyone he paid for the engagement ring. He didn't. He used Jennifer's credit card, promising to repay her. I let silence hold. "Your mother wants me to convince you to come to the engagement party and bring a generous gift." He meets my eyes. "She doesn't understand things are different now." Outside, Eleanor's wind chimes ring with a shifting breeze. "Some things have changed," I say. "Some haven't." Dad nods, then pauses at the door. "The house looks beautiful, Macy. You've built something real here." 2 hours later, Mom arrives uninvited, storming in with old entitlement. "This distance has gone on long enough. You will attend Brandon's party and act like family, or you won't be family." It's that simple. The threat, once crushing, feels powerless now. "That's not your decision anymore," I reply calmly. Her face reddens. "After everything, I'll decide about the party on my own terms. You can show yourself out." The next day, Jennifer and I meet at Riverdale Roasters. She's nothing like Brandon's usual type. No artificial polish, no staged charm. "My parents divorced when I was 12, she shares, stirring her coffee. "My father was like Brandon, charming, always the victim, never responsible. My mother enabled him until she couldn't anymore. Understanding passes between us. Are you sure about marrying him?" I ask, her smile is faint. "No, but I need to see it clearly before deciding." I think carefully. "I'll come to the engagement party," I say. "Not for them, for me, and for you." Later in my garden, Eleanor helps me trim roses as the sun sets. "Will being back in that environment hurt you?" she asks, hands gentle with the blooms. I pause. "Maybe, but I'm not the same person they think I am." Eleanor nods knowingly. "Family isn't who you're born to. It's who truly sees you." I glance at my house, glowing in the evening light, garden flourishing, strength etched into every repair I made. "This house showed me what family really means," I say. "People who show up, who stay, who see you even when it's not convenient." The breeze carries the scent of roses and fresh soil, growth and boundaries entwined. On the day of the engagement, Rachel and I walk into the Westbrook Country Club. The weight of my choice presses on me, but my spine stays straight, my chin lifted. "You look stunning," Rachel whispers, squeezing my hand. Simple elegance is always better than trying to impress. I chose a forest green dress that follows my figure but doesn't draw attention. No bold jewelry, no elaborate hairstyle, just myself, plain and unapologetic. The murmurs stop as we step into the reception area. Relatives pause mid-conversation, drinks still in hand. Some nod uneasily, others turn away. I notice Aunt Susan whispering to Uncle Robert, their glances landing on me. Brandon stands near the gift table, his smile fading the moment he sees me. He had clearly expected my absence, another chance to brand me as difficult. Jennifer waves from across the room, relief softening her face. My parents approach with polished smiles that don't reach their eyes. Mom's brief relief shifts into something sharper, calculating. Dad shifts his stance, his usual signal when tension builds. "You came," Mom says, her voice raised just enough for nearby relatives. "How thoughtful." "Wouldn't miss it," I reply lightly. Unspoken words settle between us. 20 minutes pass with distant relatives making small talk about the weather. At the refreshment table, I sip sparkling water until Mom appears beside me, smiling for the crowd. "Listen carefully," she hisses. "Don't mention your house tonight." This is Brandon's moment. The old pattern emerges. Linda instructs. Macy obeys. Dad remains undecided between stepping in or keeping peace. "Mom, not everything has to be about you," she cuts in, adjusting canapes on her plate. "Just let your brother have his moment without competition." Before I can answer, Jennifer approaches, her cream dress glowing under the lights. Her eyes move between us, reading the tension. "There you are, Macy," she says warmly. "I've been hoping to catch you." Mom's smile stiffens. "We were just discussing family matters, dear." I take a slow breath, remembering Dr. Foster's words. Your response belongs to you, not them. Turning to Jennifer, I smile sincerely. "I'm here to celebrate you, Jennifer. Nothing else matters tonight." The words linger. Mom's fingers tighten on her glass, her plan disrupted. Jennifer links her arm through mine and gently leads me away. "Thank you for coming," she whispers. "It means more than you know." The evening continues in a careful rhythm of polite conversation. Then Brandon rises, glass in hand. "Jennifer and I are grateful to see everyone here tonight," he begins, his charm on display. "This year has been full of milestones. My new home purchase, this engagement." Jennifer's smile falters. Her eyes find mine. Relatives shift uneasily, Aunt Susan suddenly fascinated by her plate. I remain quiet, sipping water. The lie weakens as Jennifer's confusion becomes clear to all. After the toast, Jennifer pulls Brandon aside. Their heated whispers carry across the room. Brandon's gestures grow frantic, his eyes darting toward our parents. Mom focuses on the centerpiece while Dad checks his watch, as if time could solve this. Later, I step onto the terrace, breathing in the cool spring night. Jennifer joins me, her eyes red but steady. "Are you okay?" I ask. She shakes her head. I had no idea how deep this goes. The apartment, the promotion that never happened, the savings that don't exist. Her voice cracks. "Your parents know, don't they?" "Yes," I answer simply. "They've always known." "How do you live with it?" she asks. "I'm still learning," I reply, watching the stars. But choosing truth helps, even when it hurts. The terrace door slams. Brandon storms out, face flushed. "What are you doing?" he demands. "You're turning her against me." Jennifer straightens. "She's just being honest with me." "Honest?" He scoffs. "She's always been jealous." "Ask anyone." "I already did," Jennifer says calmly. "I asked your cousin Mark about the apartment." He looked confused. Brandon's facade slips, showing raw entitlement. "So what if I rent?" "People exaggerate." "This isn't about the apartment," I reply softly. "It's about the pattern." The family story unravels in front of relatives who've drifted onto the terrace. I pick up my purse, suddenly tired. "I should go." Mom appears at the door, voice tense. "Macy, don't make a scene." Dad steps forward, his tone firmer than ever. "Let her go, Linda. We've done enough." His words hang in the night. Mom stares, caught off guard by his break from the script. I walk past them, steady and composed. Relatives step aside, their faces shifting between confusion and realization. Outside, I breathe deeply. Rachel waits by the car. "Ready?" she asks. I glance back at the glowing country club windows. Inside, truth has finally surfaced. Whether they accept it or deny it no longer controls me. "Yes," I answer. "I'm ready." A year later, sunlight filters through new curtains, scattering gold across my dining table. 8 place settings rest with blue vases of roses from my garden. This time, the chairs will be filled by people who choose to be here. I trace the oak table, recalling the day my phone revealed my family's truth. The memory still stings, but less now, softened by time and healing. Dr. Foster calls this progress. "Something smells amazing," Rachel says, appearing with a bottle of wine. She's been here since dawn, helping prepare our Sunday dinner tradition. "Eleanor's recipe," I reply, smiling as I adjust a napkin. She swore her pot roast could heal anything. The walls around me carry my story better than words. Photographs of my chosen family now hang where once only relatives belonged. Rachel and I painted the living room together. Peter and Jane from work helped build the bookshelves. Mrs. Eleanor showed me how to plant hydrangeas before her health declined last winter. "You should see the garden," I tell Rachel, leading her outside. "It's beautiful. The once barren yard is now alive with color." Eleanor's lessons were never only about gardening. "Gardens teach patience," she reminded me during therapy sessions. Some relationships bloom quickly, others take time, and some never grow at all. These days, I meet with Dr. Foster monthly instead of weekly. Yesterday, she asked what I've learned over the past year. "I've learned to build fences," I said. "Not just the white one outside, but boundaries that protect what matters." At work, I mentor Alexis, a young engineer whose mother doubts her career. She texted me yesterday. "Your advice changed everything." I told my mom no to the reunion, her first real boundary. The doorbell interrupts. Rachel squeezes my shoulder as I go to answer it. My father Charles stands there, holding a potted lilac, uncertainty in his eyes. "Our monthly coffee meetings have been awkward, but slowly honest. I thought your garden might have room for this," he says. "Your grandmother had one at our first house," I accept with a genuine smile. "It's perfect for the corner bed." Inside, he looks around at the space my mother still refuses to visit. She stays in her version of the story, where Brandon deserves endless chances, and I remain ungrateful. Brandon still blames Jennifer for walking away after the truth came out at their engagement party. Last I heard, he moved back home, chasing opportunities that never arrive. The doorbell rings again. More friends arrive, filling the chairs. Laughter echoes where silence once lingered. Charles watches quietly, his presence both strange and familiar. When everyone is seated, the empty chair for Mrs. Eleanor stands as a quiet tribute. Jane raises her glass. To the house that truth built, repeating Eleanor's words from her final visit. Later, as twilight softens the day, Charles joins me on the porch. You built something beautiful here, he says. In this home and in your life. What goes unspoken carries just as much weight. Regret? Admiration? The complicated threads of a bond that may never fully heal, yet might still grow into something true. Inside, more guests arrive for dessert. From the street, my home glows with warmth, so different from the emptiness of a year ago. I welcome them in, glimpsing the family I've created. The thought settles deep within me. True family sees you clearly and chooses to stay. As night falls, I look back at the house alive with conversation and connection. Sometimes you set a table for 24, but only 8 come. And those 8 become everything.